Hey guys, Griffin Time Machine Transport. Got a black guy from our Olympics on Saturday. Anyways, today is Monday, August 2nd, 2021, and I'm listening to a bunch, just heading out onto the shop. Got that other flaring tool done, and so I'll be doing a video on how the second part of those injector cups goes. The first one was it worked, but not as well as I would like to have worked. So I'm listening to YouTube stuff this morning, and we were also talking about, you know, doomsday scenarios over at the Olympics with some of our friends and well, brothers and sisters, stuff like that. Not biological brothers and sisters, but brothers and sisters in humanity. So I was telling Sarah, my wife, if you're subscribed to the channel, you know she's an RN, and she works in cardiology. And she worked ICU and dialysis for many years. Hi, baby girl, I love you. And one of the reasons why I mentioned this is because at her hospital, months ago, they, sorry for the shaking, I'm just traveling down this construction shit on Highway 50, so a lot of people are, well, at her hospital, she works for a large organization, medical firm, and or conglomerate, however you want to say it. And they sent out an email months and months ago, probably even almost close to a year ago, possibly. I think it's September or October to be a year, maybe, where they said that the Terrell Buckley, as I call it, the thing that they're going to be trying to stick in our arms. So Terrell Buckley, because he used to play for the Green Bay Packers, and he was a defensive player, and he hit so hard, he was telling everybody he was giving everybody a shot. The vaccinator, giving y'all a shot. So Terrell Buckley called himself the vaccinator. So we called it Terrell Buckley on this channel. So her hospital had sent out to all its employees nationwide that they will not mandate or require you to get the Terrell Buckley because the CDC hasn't approved it, and that's the reason why and everybody was like, all these medical professionals, you know, they're all, you know, they're turning this thing down. This was, you know, last year sometime, and everybody, when this whole thing was erupting, and now it's erupting again, this whole smoke screen, you know, worst pandemic on the planet. But anyways, oh yeah, you know, all these medical professionals, you know, a lot of places aren't requiring it until the CDC okays it. Once the CDC approves it, then it's going to be a completely different story. Then they're going to be, because they're getting government dollars, and the hospitals, or they will get government dollars. I'm sure they're getting well compensated by the governments for doing all this testing and administering and everything else. But so I was listening to some channels this morning, and the one guy that I was listening to, I think it was Roy Potter, had stated that the CDC is going to be approving this thing they're talking about next month in September. So that's going to pose a problem. And because I just told my wife just a bit ago before I left the house that, you know, it's because she's already told her doctor that she's not getting it, and he's already gotten it, and he was like, "What? What do you mean or maybe no, maybe he didn't get it, but he when she said she's not going to get it, he's like, what? Come on, you gotta, you know." And he's a big Second Amendment guy, and so she did an analogy, and he's also eats kosher, or maybe it's vegan and kosher, but anyways, she did an analogy like, what if they were going to force you to eat meat, or they force you to eat non-kosher? What would you do then? He's like, well, that's, you know, I wouldn't do that. Well, exactly, that's exactly what this is. So, you know, her and I had said, well, you're not, she's pretty staunch on she's not going to take it, as I am. However, if we needed to continue to support our household financially, what do? You know, my wife's definitely not going to take it. I'd rather her quit than take this thing. And as a man of the house, as a husband, or the person that the other person looks at, you know, for answers and security and everything else, you have to kind of take one for the team, unfortunately. Because all these people that are saying, oh, I'm not going to take it, I'm not going to take it. Well, these are the same people that wore masks during their jobs because their jobs told them, hey, if you don't wear a mask, you got to leave. And you're going to not be able to come back to work unless you wear the mask. So my question is, and I've said this in videos before last year, that if you wore a mask to keep your job, you will take the Terrell Buckley to keep your job. You will take your Terrell Buckley to keep your job. If you're the only person in the household making money, or to support your family, like my wife and I mean, she does well, I do well, so one of us can actually not be able, or no, one of us could refuse it, and we'd still be able to support our household. So, as I'm listening to these channels this morning, you know, this is going to be mandated. Kind of look like I'm wearing eyeliner. So, no, it wasn't because I was talking shit or drunk or anything. It was an accident. Somebody threw something, and they didn't mean to hit me, and it just hit me. But anyways, my eye was kind of swole up. So, it's all good. So, and I still have not received my my Invisaligners for my braces yet. So, I'm still very self-conscious about my tooth being gone. And I'm not feeling well, and my wife got me some antibiotics, so I'm feeling a lot better than I was. But so this is going to be mandated. They are going to mandate this. They are going to mandate it because they're, like I said, they just heard, and it was on a few channels, that the CDC is going to more than likely approve the Pfizer Terrell Buckley. So it's going to be mandated, guys. It is going to be mandated. I mean, right now, over in Europe, you got France, Greece, Italy, Germany, the UK, Australia. I mean, you got all these countries right now up in arms over this thing being mandated. And people talk about our freedoms. And I know I'm kicking the can down the road once again, but you better be ready to start asking yourself some serious questions. This is no longer just hypotheticals or This will be mandated. It will be mandated. For whatever reason, whatever their ulterior motive is, I don't know. But it will be mandated. It will be mandated. So we better start asking, you, me, all of us, need to really start asking us serious questions, because it's coming. It is coming. It is coming. You better be ready to face reality here probably by fall, if not before fall, that it's going to be mandated. What are you going to do then? I hope you have a plan, and your plan better not just be, oh, I'm going to go out and protest, because that ain't going to work. You better be literally ready to, if you're not going to take it, sell your house, sell all your belongings, and quit your job, cash out your 401k or any kind of savings you have, and be prepared to go live out in the wilderness somewhere, because it's coming. There is no ifs. This is not about if, it's about when. And yes, I'm telling you, they're going to mandate this thing. And people, you know, like one of my brother-in-laws, like, oh, we had this conversation last Thanksgiving about guns and this and that, and oh, dude, they're never going to come after our guns, man. There's too many. There's too many of us with guns. Yeah, there's over 600 million guns out there, but if we're not organized, and I've said this in videos in the past, if we're not organized, they might as well be water cannons, because without organized people, we're not going to be able to stand up to them. Like I said, my analogy is, The amount of people we have standing up against this thing right now is basically you taking a wrist rocket with a ball bearing in it and firing it towards a car coming at you at 80 miles an hour. You're never going to stop it. You're just going to you might crack a windshield or break a headlight or pop a hole in the radiator if you're lucky, but you ain't going to stop it. There's just no way. Unless you were to meet that same car with the exact same force, which it doesn't sound like we're going to do it. Like I've left my number so many times on videos, man, and I've gotten enough calls. Some crazy, some not so crazy, but my number is 414-477-7845. My email is time, T-I-M-E, time machine transport, the number 1 at gmail.com. So, you know, the whole thing is, we're not going to stand up to them. There's no way. I mean, I'm a kind of person that goes against the grain a lot. But after seeing the non-progress that we've made here in the last year and a half or year, however long this has been out, I think we started in this, so a year and a few months or whatever, almost close to a year and a half. We've done nothing. We just sit there and we talk about the doom and the gloom and you know, they can't do this to us. Oh, man, you can't do that to me, man. You know, it's kind of like, you know, that freaking one kid when he's over at his buddy's house and they're playing video games and dude's mom or dad comes into his bedroom and just kicks open the doors and, didn't I tell you to take that trash out? And that kid is so petrified. The one that you went over to his house, he's terrified. And when the parent leaves, you look at him, man, she can't do that to you, man. She can't invade your space like that, man. Yeah, that's exactly what we're doing. That's my analogy of this whole thing is people are just sitting there, man, she can't do that to you, man. She can't invade your space. Well, you're going to go take that trash out regardless. So she can't invade your space. Because we're living in their house, and they're telling us what to do. Although, we're paying to keep the lights on. So we're not living there for free. We're living in their house, but yet we're paying all the bills. So if we were to leave their house, how could they pay for their house, or their property insurance, or their property taxes, or their insurance, or their water bill, or this or that? Yes, we are living in our government's house. But we're the ones that are paying the bills. And yet they're telling us that we have a curfew. And they're telling us what we can and cannot do in their home that we're paying for. And we just sit there and take it. We just sit there and say, oh, no, we're not going to take, I ain't taking a Terrell Buckley. I ain't taking a jab. Yeah, we'll see when they come knocking on my door. You ain't going to do shit. You ain't doing shit. You ain't doing shit. Because if you were about shit, if you were about something, then you would be putting your number out there and having people call you and trying to organize and trying to do this. But you ain't. Yeah, you ain't going to do shit. You're going to take the jab, or you'll lie about it and say, no, I didn't take the jab, but I'm the only one with the job. You're going to take it. You're going to take it. You will take the Terrell Buckley and you will go on your merry way and you will talk about and cry about how they can't do it to us. Just like me. Because I don't have anybody backing me. I don't have anybody that will stand firm with me and say, oh, yeah, man, dude, I ain't taking it, man. Well, we'll see when they mandate it. We'll see. We'll see how badass you are when they mandate it. We'll see. You're going to take it. And you're going to take it and move the fuck on, and you're going to be like, man, they can't do that. Man, this is so unfair. That's all you're going to do is you're going to talk about how unfair it is. Because I don't see anybody that I'm aware of that actually has a plan C, D, E, or F. My wife and I are preppers. We have guns. We have ammo. We have water purification. We have night goggles. We got fishing gear. We got a bug out trailer. We got murder machines. I got so much shit. I mean, like literally I could seriously have a legit firefight. And if that's the way it goes down, that's the way it goes down. So, and if I have to take one because I have no support, then shame on you, man. Because nobody's there backing me. And if you were to call me and say, hey, man, let's start organizing, okay, then I'd have your back. I'd have your six all day, every day. So, but unfortunately, it's not going to be that. It's going to be everybody just rolling up their sleeves, taking the Terrell Buckley and talking about how this is unfair, or the ones that are, I would say, mental or whatever, but the ones that are fooled, the ones that have gotten the wool pulled over their eyes, those are the ones that, well, dude, it's just a jab, man. It's just, you know, I mean, come on, you take the flu, you know, Terrell Buckley. Who cares? You take the flu, Terrell, dude. They didn't mandate the flu, Terrell Buckley. They're not mandating this one. They're gonna mandate this one. They will mandate this one. You can protest all you want unless you take it to the streets with guns, man. That's the only way that they're gonna listen, man. So you can sit there and talk all day long. All day long. Man, I ain't taking, man. You're going to take it. If you wore a mask to work, because it all began with the mask. It all began with the mask. And I'm a hypocrite. I wear a mask at shippers and receivers. Not all the time. If we go out to eat, I don't wear a mask. And I'm not justifying it. But once again, I'm the slingshot with the ball bearing on, or the wrist rocket with the ball bearing on it, and the car's coming at me 80 miles an hour. Who do I have in my corner to help me? Nobody. All I see is people still, you know, wearing their masks and talking about, oh, dude, it's just a mask, man. Well, guess what? The masks are coming back, even if you have the Terrell Buckley. Go figure that one, huh? Because it's about control. And the ones that are sitting and wearing these masks, oh, dude, it's just a mask, man. Or I need to wear the mask because I need to keep my job. Exactly. Exactly. That's exactly why you're going to take the Terrell Buckley. That's exactly why I'm going to take it. Because I don't want my wife to take it, and at least if one of us is there to help Mr. Clyde and him grow up and they have to take care of him and the other person is deceased, then I go to the Holy Land, man. Seriously, I'm okay with that. But the fact, the point of the video is, if you don't think that this is going to be mandated, you're a fool, man. You are an absolute fool. And you need, and if you're not, you better be prepared to sell everything you own and move out into the wilderness, man. So that's just it. I mean, it's going to be mandated. It will be mandated, and hopefully, when everybody takes it, it is for this worst case scenario smokescreen bullshit. But I don't think it is. I think it's for population control, and nobody's taking it seriously. Everybody just goes along their merry day and their merry way and their merry say, oh, I'm not going to take that. Oh, I'll wear the mask because I got to keep my job, but I ain't going to take the Terrell Buckley because, God, that's a different story. You're going to take it. You're going to take it. No, you ain't lying to anybody but yourself. So, because nobody wanted to organize. Nobody wanted to really stand up against this, and so on and so on. And that's exactly how it's going to go down, man. It's so sad. And, you know, Biden said it the best, and I said it on, I don't know how many videos ago, about, he said, because their goal date for 70% Terrell Buckley was July 4th, Independence Day, right? And Biden says, quote unquote, we Americans can do anything when we do it together. We Americans can do anything when we do it together. And he's so right. He's so true. We could do anything if we did it together, but we won't stand together. They want this whole, critical race theory. They want all this BLM agenda and all this other stuff because they need to keep the populace divided, because it's easier to control them in small numbers or in halvesies than it is as a whole group. Because if you have all of us basically saying no, they're not going to be able to force it on us. But we don't have that. They need to create division. They need to create separation. And that's just what they need to control the populace. And that's what happened. So I don't know. I just be prepared, man, for just be prepared for it to be mandated. It's going to be mandated. I don't care what anybody says. And it's all going to go. I mean, they're already doing it over in other states, like de Blasio over in New York. Well, Cuomo first said, quote unquote, the governor of New York said, this was last week sometime, we need to get out there and knock on doors, get them in cars, and get it in their arm, quote unquote. Look it up. It was on RT News on something about governors, scare this or whatever. So, and they had Cuomo say this: we need to go get out there, knock on doors, get them in cars, and get it in their arm. That's it, quote unquote. De Blasio, he says, oh, and this was on this other guy I listened to. They had him on a news thing where he's talking about how, we gave everybody the choice, the chance to do it nicely and this and that, and not. It's time that we stop being nice and we need to mandate it. And this was cool. I mean. It's just go on RT News and you'll go back and you'll see where De Blasio says it, and it's like, you guys are being nice. Anyways, I'm just going to go off on another tangent, but this is going to be mandated, and it's all going to start with work. They're not just going to, I don't think they're just going to set up roadblocks and start saying, well, if you want to go home tonight, you're going to have to put this in your arm. I don't think it's going to be that. I think it's all going to start at the workforce, at the workplace level, and say, if you can tell your employees to either get it or not report to work, then you'll get a tax credit from the U.S. Uncle Sam. Again, we're paying to keep the lights on, so they're going to use our money to force this on us. How crazy is that? We're paying to keep the lights on, but yet you're going to have us pay for it and us make ourselves put it in our arm. Boy, they're good, aren't they? They love us so much, our government. They are going to have us pay for it and then force us to take it, or we can't make money, and we're going to go ahead and do it like fools because we don't support each other. That's crazy, man. Absolutely nuts. So be prepared, man. It's coming. And you can call me a bullshitter, but watch. By fall, it's going to be mandated. It's going to be mandated, and it's all going to start in the workplace. If you don't get it, you can't come to work. And you're going to get it because you need to pay your bills, just like I will. Unless finally, out of the blue, people just start really taking to the streets with their weapons and say, you know what, enough is enough. I hope that's what we do. That's if they started having protests around Kenosha and Milwaukee, anywhere around us, Chicago, I'm there to protest it. I'll come out with my guns. I will sit there and protest this. As long as there's so many other people, we won't. God, it's so sad, dude. I don't even know why I said dude. So, anyways, I'm done. I'm like a minute away from the shop. I just wanted to take up some time and let you guys know, man, it's coming. And if you don't think it's coming, you gotta wake up, man. It's coming. It's coming. So, anyways, please like and subscribe to the channel. Ciao.